The Kress building was built in 1933 in the Art Deco style using a strong steel inner skeleton. There are 117 Kress buildings in the U.S. 70% have some sort of historic designation. 6 years ago, Mayor Mayo and the former city council accepted ownership of the building. So there are a few questions. Why would the former council accept this liability? Was it an attempt to salvage a historically significant structure? Why isn't any of that information in your packet? The former city council didn't accept this building with a liability to tear it down. So why would this council be so quick to take on this substantial physical liability? Staff says all funding options have been exhausted, however, does not include any denial letters or list of applications. Has the city conducted an engineering study to discuss the live spring under the building and the cost associated with it? We've heard that 2 neighbors complained. Why is the Morrissey letter not in your packets or on the website? More importantly, has the city asked the community about their feelings? A group of us have. After the last city council meeting, we quickly formed Save Downtown Texarkana, which in a little over a week has had over 140,000 views. People are talking, and people don't want parking lots. They want their downtown saved. How does the city explain the expenditure of $300,000 from the fund balance on one building when there are city residents who are forced to live next to partially burned and collapsed residential homes? When the council opens the fund balance up to demolition of this one building, how does the city address all the other neglected structures owned by the city in Texarkana? What makes this building more unstable than the others? And who decides? Is there a process? Instead of spending $300,000, the city could then be forced to spend $3 million on several other properties. If you can't answer these questions, how do you justify spending $300,000 out of the fund balance? So what are some of our options? Continued demolition by neglect. Pay from the fund balance to drain the basement. Pay for a second, more thorough structural evaluation where engineers actually enter the building and then decide if demolition or stabilization is the lower cost solution. Demolish the building at a cost of $300,000 from the fund balance. Or we could contact the State Historic Commission for their advice, guidance, and leadership. And that's what we did. We called Justin Kress with the Texas Historic Commission, who says the EPA Phase 1 not done prior to gifting has no effect on the building's eligibility and suggests a Section 106 review. The Section 106 review starts by identifying the project's area of potential effect, the APE, and any other historic properties that are located within that APE. This was all done in 2002, and as you recall, it was ruled that the historic property within the APE would be adversely affected by demolition of the Kress. But that's not the end of what the state can do. Then consultation continues, and alternatives that avoid, minimize, or mitigate the adverse effects must be considered. This could mean stabilizing the structure or saving only the facade. There are many funding options for the city pertaining to this property which may not have been fully investigated. Mr. Kress wants me to tell you, he encourages the city to carefully weigh all other alternatives before demolishing this historically significant building. He wants to know if consideration's been given to stabilizing the structure and securing the building. Has consideration been given to preserving and stabilizing the front facade? If the building represents a public safety hazard, is it possible to address those issues without demolition of the entire building? Mr. Kress says the costs to demolish the building are likely to be substantial, and they hope it's not an outlay that is undertaken without consideration of the full range of available options. The Texas Historic Commission has not been contacted during this administration about the Kress building. So looking toward our future, our infrastructure is aging rapidly in Texarkana. We have negligent property owners in business and residential areas. We are reactionary instead of being proactive. We must plan for our future. This means a budget for cleaning up neglected properties in the business and residential areas. We must enforce codes and reassure our citizens the codes are being fairly enforced in all parts of our city. Our council needs to decide if they're going to tear down our old or respect our past as we build toward our future.